Hello and welcome to Culture Craft, the podcast about designers and creators throughout history, the culture that inspired them, and the legacy they left behind. My name is Ian, and I don't know anything today.
And I am Dave, and I don't know anything either.
And I'm Ellie, and I have papers in front of me, so hopefully if I read them, we'll learn something.
The papers know everything.
Yeah.
Well, how are you guys? How have you been since we last spoke? Did anything happen to you this week that was exciting?
No, I threw my back out, and I'm 36, and it sucks, and every day is a painful reminder that I and everyone I love are going to die.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling better now, so
How did you do it? You have simply no idea how it
I
happened.
jumped on a trampoline. I jumped on a small trampoline made for jumping.
This is the first time he has admitted
marketed to
this.
geriatric people. I jumped on it briefly several times over the course of a week or so, and I couldn't move for 4 days.
But you're finally admitting that this is the thing. For weeks you were like, for several days you're like, I have no idea what happened.
It doesn't seem to make sense. Why is my back angry that my feet are bouncing?
The first time I suggested it might be the trampoline, you said, no.
I don't know.
No.
I mean,
Not.
Trampoline would never betray me.
but it was given to me by my 7-year-old mother.
Yes, it was.
I mean, she doesn't weigh close to 300 pounds, but still.
She
All
did
right.
give it to you because it was a little much for her, the jumping, to
Yeah,
be fair.
that's true. Okay.
Oh, I'm picturing the two of you just jumping together
Just
on a
frolicking.
trampoline. That's so cute.
Yeah.
So lovely.
How are you, Dave?
I'm good. Very good. I've taken up storm chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your Nissan Sentra?
In my Nissan Sentra
Yeah.
from 2014. It's going really well.
Yeah. In February.
In February.
In Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm road tripping. I don't like to go after tornadoes, though. They seem a little too. So I'm going after hurricanes as my plan. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of retrofitting.
Yeah.
But when I get it done, I'm going to be like those people who went to the Titanic, and I can't remember anything about it.
I've never understood the object of storm chasing. Is it to just see it better?
Well, according to the movie Twister, and I believe also the subsequent movie Twisters, the idea is to document it for science with robots.
Right. They throw up those little balls.
Yeah.
And then the old lady dies in the lava, or that's a different one.
That's, I think,
I don't think there's lava.
That's Dante's Inferno.
that's Dante's Inferno. I remember back in the 90s when you had to go rent videos.
Yeah.
My mother rented Twister and was very excited to see it because she didn't get to see it in theaters. And then she brought it home and she watched it and she hated it. She thought it was terrible because she got the wrong movie. She got the movie Tornado, which is significantly worse.
There's a movie just called Tornado.
They came out the exact same year as Twister.
She couldn't remember which. She just
It was a Deep Impact Armageddon situation.
Yeah, that's what I was just
where just like Deep Impact, it is the inferior movie.
Yeah.
I will die on the hill that Armageddon is a
I
classic.
don't think I have ever seen Armageddon, nor have I seen Deep Impact.
It's really good, especially if you consider it to be a prequel to Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. Thank you. It's the only context where an Armageddon is acceptable. My favorite thing about Armageddon is that in the DVD commentary, Ben Affleck tells the story about how he went to the writer and director and said, doesn't it make more sense for the drillers to train the astronauts how to drill than the astronauts to train the drillers how to astronaut? And their response was, just shut up. And he said, okay.
Go stand on your tape, Ben Affleck. Stand on your tape and say the words.
But I mean, Liv Tyler in that movie was very important for generations of pubescent people. So
yeah.
Which is the one with Will Smith?
That's Independence Day.
Independence Day. That one I have seen.
There are no aliens in Armageddon. I do want to be clear.
There's no aliens in Armageddon?
It's just a big rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bruce Willis dies.
I guess you can have an Armageddon without they're not necessarily tied.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So gardens?
I'm sure whoever you are about to talk about is up there. Probably not matching, but close to Michael Bay in terms of how important he is
as a creator,
and to the culture that we all experience every day. How many Transformers movies has he directed?
Well, you're gonna have to find out.
Transformed some things.
You're gonna have to find out.
There we go.
Like his name. I know a very little bit about this.
You know
person.
too
I'm
much
so excited
already.
about it.
I have no idea.
Shut your mouth.
That's fine. It's fine. I can't walk. I can't speak.
Ian is not okay. He's in a bad relationship.
All right.
Just slowly taking your agency away from you.
That's fine. I don't need it.
Ellie was the one who actually got on the trampoline.
I had kids. Like I reproduce, so biologically, like I'm just fine with whatever happens to me. It doesn't matter. I did the thing already.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and start off by telling you guys a little bedtime story. Is that okay?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to read it. Okay. In 1623, King Louis XIII of France built a hunting lodge on a hill some 12 miles outside of Paris. He had visions of partying with his bros and shooting many a woodland creature. But when his friends came for a sleepover, they were super not into his rustic vibe.
Okay.
They laughed at him. They said his lodge was dinky and useless. They said it was not properly equipped for the modern gentleman. Word spread to the French court that King Louis had a puny lodge.
Oh.
And that made him sad. But Louis had something that none of his friends had. Any guesses what Louis had?
Gout? No.
That's a good guess.
That's the different one. Lots of money and the throne.
That's right. The power and money to do absolutely anything he wanted.
Yeah.
So he rebuilt the hunting lodge into a chateau. And at last, everyone was suitably impressed. His bros wanted to spend all of their time there doing bro stuff. So Louis made a rule that there were no girls allowed. He meant it too. One time, Louis fled to the lodge to save himself and his son from a smallpox outbreak. But his wife was not allowed to come. No girls.
Is there any scientific evidence that women can get smallpox?
That's for another episode. I have nothing to add to that.
Who designed smallpox?
Yeah. But eventually, King Louis.
Yeah.
He went back in time.
We're going to sleep, everyone.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But eventually, King Louis XIII went the way of all flesh.
He died?
Yeah.
He ascended.
What a horrifying way to phrase that. He went the way of all flesh?
That's the thing that people say.
Who says that?
No. People. I don't know.
Jeez. Shh. A horrifying bedtime story.
Consumed by pigs.
I thought I was gonna be like that. You were gonna be like Cincinnati, but you knew.
Can I briefly interject?
Of course.
So this has nothing to do with anything you said other than the last thing, which is that one time I was in a university psychology class and our professor asked the class, what do you think has killed the most people out of anything?
Was the answer Cincinnati?
And so confidently, this girl behind me raised her hand. No, I screwed up the story. Hold on. So the question actually, I'm remembering now. It's been a while. I'm remembering now. It's worth it. I promise. It's relevant to the energy of Cincinnati, which is that our professor asked us how many people AIDS has killed, which is a wild question to just put out in the room. to 19-year-olds who don't know anything.
Why are we here?
And but the girl behind me so confidently raised her hand and said, half. And my professor looked at her and said, of people? And she said, yeah, I think half of humanity. I was sorry, smallpox,
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that's okay. So Louis the 13th
Died.
Stuffed it. So
Of AIDS.
who knows? I don't think history has any idea. Surely.
Well, it certainly wasn't smallpox. He got away from that.
It wasn't in the one thing I read, okay?
So he died of AIDS. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
And his son, Louis the 14th, he became king. He decided that he wanted to move his whole court approximately 12 miles outside of Paris. Even the ladies.
God.
Except for his mom. He hated his mom.
This poor woman.
Screw his mom.
She never gets to go. She never gets to go.
But the chateau, as totally average size as it was simply not big enough for the whole French court. The 14th Louis decided to build a palace.
Okay.
Oh.
What is a chateau? Oh my God.
That is a completely average chateau in France.
This is a palace. This is the Palace of Versailles.
Wow.
So tell me a little bit about what you guys know about Versailles.
I grew up pronouncing it Versailles because I'm from Western Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, what do you know about Versailles?
I'm very confident that it's in the south of France.
It's 12 miles outside of Paris.
Is it south of Paris?
It's not in the south of France as what people would usually say.
I said I was very confident about it.
Not what people would usually refer to as that. Like, no, it's not on the coast or anything.
I don't think this part is true.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I know, because I've heard it from people, is that there were no bathrooms. So they just kind of pissed wherever.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. At this time, it was usually you just had like a chamber pot in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably true. You like went behind a screen. You'd be like having, I mean, this is not part of my research, so this could be inaccurate, but you like were having dinner with people and then there would just be like a screen and someone would just go
in the
behind it.
same room.
That's not the impression I get, certainly. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. I'm a shy peer. I don't think I could do that. And any other information we have other than this bounty of information about Versailles?
No.
Well, I can tell you it was commissioned in 1661. And
the palace was?
Well, no. In fact, all of it was commissioned in 1661. At the same time that Louis XIV commissioned the palace to be built, he commissioned André Le Nôtre to build the gardens. That's this absolute stud right here.
Gorgeous.
André
Love that. That's a wig, right? They didn't all just have that awesome hair.
For sure.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, Versailles is the ultimate example of a French garden.
No soil.
What do you think?
And apparently no flowers.
What do you think we mean when we say, like, when someone says that the garden is a French garden in style? What are some things that would...
Secretly a vineyard.
Oh, that's fun. Is this secretly a vineyard?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, I'm gathering from the photo you're showing me that highly manicured.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
A lot of full frontal nudity in a film that you do not understand,
Children's
and then
movie.
just kind of ends.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, these are all good answers, people. All good answers. Yeah, so French gardens tend to be very, very manicured, very curated. We're talking straight lines. We're talking, we're talking the rows and hedges precisely cut. Things are placed and planted exactly where they're meant to be, and all None of these lines are found in nature. These are
Yeah.
all things that are definitely man-made.
A lot of cool
See.
statues.
Yeah, straight things. So we've got some, you can see this is a top-down
Wow.
view of Versailles. Look how just like
Yeah.
angular that
yeah.
is, how exact, how planned. Yeah. So, there's a few elements of a French garden that are pretty typical. One is going to be called, being from America, I would probably call it a bosquet. Hopefully that is close to how we pronounce it. But that's a formal planting of trees so that they line up. So I'm sure you guys have been past trees before where you drive by and then they're in a column and they drive by again and they're in another column. And so a bosquet of trees is just basically anytime you plant trees to be lined up perfectly. And then we've got a parterre, which is like what you saw in the first picture. It's gonna be when you take garden beds and you make very distinct shapes out of those garden beds, very symmetrical patterns. And then a lot of them have a grand canal, which you see is part of Versailles. You're in Versailles, building there, looking out the window, you're looking down, straight down line, all the way to the Grand Canal.
The
Which
Grand
just
Canal
goes on.
being
The actual
water
water.
feature? Okay. Yeah.
Are you telling me that the National Mall
It's French.
in Washington, D.C.
It would
is a
be
French
It
garden?
would be French inspired, yeah, at least that part of it for sure. This
That makes sense.
is a parterre. See how they're building those beds up to be in a very specific pattern. They're carving them out.
And it's so nice to finally see a flower in this garden.
Yeah. And but the hedges and the flowers are exactly where they're meant to be. No one's scattering seeds for the flowers to appear where they want to be.
Yeah.
No.
That's a time accurate picture from when they were building it initially, right?
This is not actually Versailles. This is a different garden, but this is just an example.
But that's still from the 1600s.
No.
Those look like 1600s jeans to me.
They do.
A tractor is like an early model.
Yeah, that could be. We are not here to talk about French gardens.
Okay.
Obviously. We're here to talk about Capability Brown.
Hell yes.
What?
Capability Brown.
But I need you to guess, although Capability Brown is what he is known for almost exclusively, and the plaques and everything towards him are all under that name. Can you guess what his real first name was?
Just like from his face?
Yeah. What kind of feeling do you get from him?
I'm not going to guess because I know the answer. It's great.
Oh. He kind of has Oscar vibes.
Oh, that's a good guess. That's close. His name was Lancelot Brown.
How does he have two super cool names?
He went from Lancelot to Capability Brown.
This dude is amazing.
It's incredible.
What did he wait? So he starts as a Lancelot.
He starts as Lancelot.
And then he earns Capability.
He earns the name Capability.
Yeah. I'm excited for this dude.
Yeah.
He was born in 1716 in Northumberland, in England. So we've jumped ahead 50 years from
left France
when we were born building Versailles, and we've left France.
Okay.
So in his early years, his father was the land agent for a local lord. His father unfortunately passed when he was 4 years old. But he was clearly part of an important family on the estate because his uncle was the estate surveyor and married the lord's daughter. And a different uncle became a local architect and married another gentleman's daughter. So a land agent's son would not have typically been in that sphere.
Yeah.
But they were clearly close to the Lord and rose up and kind of above their station they were born into. And as a result of that, Lancelot was educated at a local school, which was likely paid for by the lord of the manor. And he started an apprentice as a gardener on the estate when he was pretty young. Cool. He learned also estate management from the lord of the house as well. So he got an education greater than he probably would have just because his family was ingratiated with the Lord's family, and his aunt would have been his daughter, the Lord's daughter. In his youth, though, he traveled some. He left the estates. In his youth, I mean his late teens, early 20s. He left the estate. He traveled the country and learned more about engineering and especially water management, which was really important on these big estates. He eventually settled at the gardens at Stowe. Stowe has famously beautiful gardens even to this day and is featured in a lot of television. Movies. We'll talk about that later a little bit. But like the rest of his family, he was ambitious, and so he decided to go into business for himself. Uh, at the time, England was in a time of prosperity domestically and peace, mostly domestically peaceful. So it became fashionable for lords to make improvements to their country estates. People would meet up in town, and then they'd be like, "Oh, let's all have a party and go out to the country." So lords were wanting to have everything redone in the mode of the time, in the picturesque. And Lancelot decided that he would offer a turnkey service so that the lords could say I want, I want this kind of thing, and Lancelot would design it for them, and he would hire the crews, and they would come out and they would do these big projects, and the lord could just kind of sit back and enjoy the view, quite literally. So, he did this. He would start by offering to survey the grounds for them. He would come for the day, and they would ride around, and he would look at what he decided needed to be improved, and he would draw out little sketches for them. And many of these estates had an approximation of a French garden, because that really was the mode at the time. Anything artistic, anything picturesque was going to be inspired by the French. Still to this day, they have some of that power, but it very much was at the time. And this was before Canal Mania. Remember, Canal Mania comes at the end of this century. So this is pre-Canal Mania. So
I'd forgotten about Canal Mania.
So these lords, a lot of them are like, "What do I do with this water?" So
wait, we should briefly
all this water is
people,
just sitting around.
Canal Mania is something that happens from about 1790 to 1810, where for reasons I won't get into here, all of the British landed people decided they needed to build canals.
Okay, so there is flood management to be considered.
Yeah. He, at this time, is when he earned his name. He earned his name from Lord Coventry, who became his greatest friend in all this, his biggest patron. But the first time he went to work with Lord Coventry, he was brought to Croom, which was the Lord's seat, and he was told a lot of work had already been done at Croom. And so they spent the day walking around, and Lord Coventry was like, "Isn't this great? Isn't this exciting?" And Lancelot said, "Why, my lord, the place has its capabilities."
Okay.
Capability and
which
Coventry
was seen to be a
construction.
little bit of an insult. But then he kind of did all of his worked it over and completely changed it, and then Lord Coventry loved it and he went on to do many of his estates. So they became good friends. More even than gardening and landscaping, capability was a great businessman. He was really excellent at networking. He was really excellent at serving the people that he was working for. Everyone tended to be very happy with him. And so his clientele grew and grew and grew. He was able to work on several different estates at the same time because of this method. Although he would get his hands dirty, he was really overseeing the project. He designed them and then would oversee the project at several different estates at the same time, which is good because some of these projects would take they would take a decade sometimes. So most of the time that he was working, which was well over 20 years, he was just riding all across England from estate to estate and kind of just looking in and checking on the work as it happened and then bringing in new clients.
So when he finished one of these gardens, was he like the French, or did he let women in them?
He let women in them. He did. He
Very
did.
progressive.
He was actually known as quite the family man as well. Everyone lauded this man. He was well praised and loved by everyone.
Hmm.
He finished over 200 estates in his lifetime.
Damn. 20 years?
Well, no, he worked well over 20 years.
Oh.
But yes, the whole time he was in business, he did over 200 states. But more impressive to me than the time is the fact that they were all in England. He did most of England.
That's incredible.
Yeah, how many estates can there actually be?
Yeah.
in England?
I feel like he landscaped the majority of the island.
It's like every rich person in England.
Quite true. Truthfully, every rich person really hired him for at least one of their estates. Mm-hmm. He became very influential. He really did rise. And I love this phrase. This will not be the last episode that I use this phrase on, because it seems to be the thing that British historians use about everyone. But they do call him the Shakespeare of English landscape gardening.
That sucks. Oh, that's amazing.
So there you have it. So Horace Walpole. Are either of you familiar with Horace Walpole? No. I think we had to read Castle of Otranto in high school, or did I just read it because
I don't remember high school.
Horace Walpole.
All of it.
We met in high school.
Yeah, I remember that.
Horace Walpole is commonly thought of as like pretty much the father of Gothic literature.
Okay.
He pretty much brought about that whole genre. And in his diary, he wrote of capability, "He is great and fine. His genius stood unrivaled. Those who knew him best or practiced near him were not able to determine whether the quickness of eye or its correctness were most to be admired." Again, lots of praise for this dude.
Is there a butt coming? Because I feel like this guy's into some dark stuff.
So far, it's all been great.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked yet about what his designs even looked like. You don't know anything about it.
How? Oh, no. How many?
The radical thing about his gardens was to sweep away the formal garden rooms, the straight canals, the pools and avenues, and to set out instead smooth, sinuous lines, open sweeps of parkland, and swooping lines of lakes and rivers.
No.
Swooping.
All was revealed in one majestic panorama, unfolded one view at a time as the visitor passed through it.
Oh my God. I'm having a crisis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, just doing away with the French.
Just, yeah.
The French shit.
Yeah.
Just, we want some organic.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I love this. I'm so on board for capability.
Oh, blasphemy.
So, he removed the garden.
It's so vulgar.
All of the.
So that just looks.
All of those little, like, sectioned off little places.
Yeah.
Gone. Removed. He used native plants. So things that were local to the area.
Yeah.
He would add something called a ha-ha. We do need, if we talk about capability, Brown, we have to talk about the ha-ha.
The ha-ha.
The ha-ha is...
Can you spell ha-ha for me?
It's H-A-H-A. Ha-ha.
Ha-ha.
It is a wall that keeps the, like, cows from coming up toward the house. But when you're in the house looking out, you don't even see the wall. It keeps the line from being broken by a fence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke on the cows. I get it.
Yeah. He's a ha-ha. You can't get up cows. Here. He also widened any lakes or rivers so that they would reflect the house. He was super into that. And he put in culverts to help with drainage. That's where his water engineering came in. He did a lot of work on that. He would carefully place trees or shrubs to frame the view and direct the eye to where he wanted it to go. And he would import deer and other animals to be picturesque.
Just placed.
He would just bring in bunnies to be cute. Mm-hmm.
The problem is bunnies can move.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they didn't always have to be in the same place.
But how often would they bring in bunnies?
Whenever
we have some visitors coming over next week. You need to get some bunnies.
Load it up with some ducks or turkeys. Yeah. No. So I think we're noticing some things in the beginning there. So one of the books that I read about this, when the author was describing the greatness of Brown, she said, Brown's works were so subtle and naturalistic that they were often entirely missed.
Yeah. By me right now, that looked like a lawn with some trees.
So I do want to propose that this may be an Emperor's New Garden situation.
Oh my God. Is this whole thing a con? Does he just have no... It's just like...
If he actually just conned 200 rich families out of a bunch of money to just plant some trees and put in some just natural pollinators and
let stuff grow.
10 years they would work on these subjects.
He just rewilds England on the rich person. Like, this is my hero.
They would work on these landscapes for 10 years sometimes to make it look like no one had ever been there.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
This guy rules.
Okay. On that note, it goes with this picture. One of the largest innovations at Stowe was the creation of the Grecian Valley, which had originally been intended to be a lake.
So did he actually
funny.
excavate this? Or did he just find a valley and be like, we're going to put a lake there?
I think he started to dig it out for a lake, and then because of something else, or maybe anything, he was like, you know what, it looks great. It's a Grecian Valley.
Why is it Grecian?
He's so good at naming things. That's his actual skill.
Not even a valley.
You can go 20 minutes from where we are right now and find that.
Yeah.
Just out in the world.
This one's at Stowe, and it's put there on purpose.
The one I was going to would be near North Versailles.
Eventually it was. But wait, let's give him his credit. Okay, we need to hear from his own words, okay? To clarify his design, okay, I will quote him. Now there, he said, pointing his finger, I make a comma. And where more decided turn is proper, I make a colon. And where the interruption is desirable.
Oh my God.
To break the view, a parenthesis.
And where the interruption is desirable, and then you interrupt.
If that was a meta joke, you are a genius. But it's not a period.
No.
Where the break is necessary.
To break the view, a parenthesis. Now a full stop, and then I begin another subject.
He really is the Shakespeare.
So there you go.
Of garden design.
Now you understand.
Yeah.
Everything is illuminated. But he was an architect too. He did create some buildings for these people. Several of the places that
I was really hoping you were about to show just a shack.
Just stones. No, he did design some actual buildings.
Did he actually build the building in the background or the bridge?
The building in the background.
Okay, that's actually... And did he pretend that he designed that lake that it's in?
He did. He did pretend that he designed that lake. Yes. Humphrey Repton, Brown's successor, was quoted to say, Mr. Brown's fame as an architect seems to have been eclipsed by his celebrity as a landscape gardener, as he was the only professor of the one art, while he had many jealous competitors in the other.
Okay. Imagine losing a bid to this guy.
Yeah.
And you spent weeks actually planning things.
Can you imagine Andre Lanotte coming in and being looking at it and being like, where is
where are the straight lines?
Am I understanding you correct that the French style had already permeated and he was reversing all of that?
He did. Some of them did have some French gardens that he would have reversed.
Okay.
But they would have been near the house. I mean,
yeah,
I'm speaking in generalizations, but there would have been smaller gardens near the home, which he would have removed. But he did landscaping throughout all of their grounds.
I see. Okay.
So we're talking acres of land that he was
and like the approach.
planting very specific trees.
I mean, there's native plants. There,
Yeah.
he probably just
Mm-hmm.
let the wind blow.
He might have been like, "There's a bend in this road. Let's put a tree here."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He would build.
I don't care what kind of tree. Let's just put a tree there of some kind.
He needed to properly frame the view.
Yeah.
So
I need a tree here for the rabbits that will eventually be here sometimes.
So this was quite a hoity-toity time where people were painting the picturesque landscapes. So he was kind of setting it up like a great movie director, that every shot would be a portrait, right? Every
Yeah,
shot would be a beautiful
interesting.
landscape. He was really setting it up with that in mind. So, I go over here and like, I have this. Now I'm going to come sit on this bench to have a tryst with my lover, and we will look overlooking this, and they'll be framed by
This guy's really
trees, and
giving
there'll be
Stanley
little
Kubrick
rabbits.
vibes.
He was really building that. I just don't know how much work he had to do to build it, but he did build it. So he would install Gothic towers or classical temples because they would suggest a long history, and again, they were quite picturesque. And he would ensure that the buildings of the main house always had large windows so that they could really capture these picturesque sceneries.
I mean, in his defense, what he is doing is radical for this time.
Yes, it was.
Even though it is just put in native
even though
plants
it's just nothing,
and let in a lot of natural light into the home.
It was a change in. It was a change.
That's
in
a beautiful thing that I'm looking at. Like,
it's beautiful, and it really was a change in thinking. And he became so overwhelmingly popular that even though the kind of the established gardeners of the time, including the current royal gardener, didn't agree, the lords who he had worked with, kind of pressured the king into making him the royal gardener. So he became the royal gardener of all the king's grounds.
Wow.
As well. That's George III, and that happened in 1764. And the job did come with a house, Wilderness House, where he lived with his family at Hampton Court, and he would work in the gardens there. But at the same time, he only agreed to this because he was allowed to continue his own business. So he still was riding all up and down the country, working on and improving these estates. But he did do some work in the royal gardens, and I'll tell you about it now. I'm going to read from the book. During the 1760s,
you can barely tell she's reading.
Lancelot Capability Brown carried out radical and controversial work to redesign the Richmond Gardens at Kew, Surrey, for King George III. Brown's radical new scheme
I just realized you're doing an Elizabeth.
involved the removal of a number of existing features in Kew Gardens that had been built for Queen Charlotte in the 1730s.
Oh, Charlotte.
So he really came in and just
destroyed everything.
Mucked up the place.
Yeah.
There were some places he was not allowed to touch that remained in the old style.
I can't believe you used the word radical
twice
when talking about a garden.
Twice. Well, actually, I'll show you what he did.
He's working for that's nothing. That's nothing. He is currently working for the king of what is at this point the largest empire in the history of mankind.
He's already
and they are losing their mind over the fact that he just doing nothing.
That is so funny. That's just a lawn. That's just
a manicured lawn.
That is so. What a genius.
So at the time, this painting is painted by Jonathan Spires, who was one of Brown's 2 lieutenants working on the king's properties. And Jonathan painted over 100 paintings of their work there. And Kath, he did.
But there are some bushes there that have some intentionality, right?
They are lovely paintings.
The paintings are great.
And Catherine the Great, who was a Brown enthusiast, loved his work, could not ever get Brown to leave England and come to Russia to design in Russia. So she instead purchased all of Jonathan Spires' paintings to give as instructions to her gardeners. Those paintings are now in the Hermitage collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In Russia. So
that's cool. Did they actually start doing this in Russia?
I think, yes. When Catherine the Great had
I feel like if they really would have implemented this, they could have delayed the revolution by a good 30 years.
If they really leaned in, yeah.
Or maybe the opposite. Everyone would have been like, you're spending money to do this?
My point, like, you look at what the Tsar was doing, they're like, he can't be that opulent. He has a regular yard.
Yeah.
It's just...
Many of these paintings can be found in a lovely book, which I got these from, called The Hampton Court Albums of Catherine the Great by Flavio Milani. It's just a picture book, basically. But if you want just like a lovely coffee book full of beautiful watercolors of...
The art is lovely.
Maybe the coolest thing that Capability did while he was the royal gardener was literally one thing. He planted a vine.
He planted a vine.
He planted a vine.
Somewhere on the royal grounds.
Yes. But this vine is now 250 years old and is the largest grapevine in the world.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
It was planted in 1768.
Wow.
Okay, that does rule.
It is 13 feet around the base, and the longest rod is 120 feet long.
What?
The average crop of black dessert grapes is about 600 pounds a year.
Wow.
But its biggest year, 2001, it was 845 pounds of grapes.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm. It has a long history, still because it's still going. In World War I, and this is, look, that's huge.
The whole greenhouse is just that?
The whole greenhouse is just that. In World War I, so cool. The grapes were sold to benefit blind veterans. And in World War II, German prisoners of war were given the task of thinning out the bunches of grapes.
Oh, wow.
That's so petty. Never mind. It's actually earned.
Yeah, it's earned.
So this it's still there. People can go see it. It's biggest vine in the world, planted by Capability.
Cool. That's okay.
Yeah. And they actually had to build the current greenhouse like around the wooden structure that it was, because the vine had grown so deeply into the wooden structure they couldn't remove it.
It's still growing, right?
Yeah. Still hanging out. So Capability was a good dude. Someone's quoted saying about him, he's the omnipotent magician, the monarch of landscape, a man of wit, learning, and great integrity.
Cool.
He's a good dude. Many, many poems were written about his work. Again, it was hoity-toity times. People be writing poems. One of the most praised was submitted anonymously to a newspaper. I have this wonder in my head if Capability just like wrote a poem of his own praise and submitted it anonymously.
I'm getting the vibe he would do that.
That rules.
No, but he was known by his peers to be a very humble man, a family man, which is exemplified by his chosen family motto, which is never less alone than when wholly alone.
Wait.
Never less
alone
than when wholly alone.
I'm never less alone than when I'm by myself.
Right. Oh, wow.
Am
I missing something?
Motto.
Family motto.
Yeah, I think it's religious.
Oh, okay.
But it's a weird self-chosen motto.
For your family.
I feel best when I'm by myself.
Yeah, that's a confusing. Okay.
That's also sort of his thesis when it comes to how to design a garden.
Yeah, kind
Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
It'll do its thing.
Yeah.
But again, a lovely family man. His family lived with him there at the wilderness house.
Also a cool name for just
cool
where
name.
you get to live.
Cool name. Cool name. And, I feel like a lot of the guys I'm going to talk about at this podcast, something about like being a creator, being like kind of on the edge of all this stuff, something about the psychology of that makes you like have to cheat on your wife.
I've been on edge the whole time.
Yeah.
The second you got to that he's been conning all of the people, I've been on edge. I'm like, what is he going to do that make me hate him?
Is he somehow a Nazi? 200 years prior.
No. He's not.
How did he inspire Goebbels?
He's not a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. He did have a daughter outside of marriage, though. That did happen.
Oh.
Just the one.
Just the one.
You're allowed the one. If you're working directly for the king, you're allowed the one.
Well, I say that, but did he? The question is, did he have a natural daughter outside marriage? The answer is, I hope so, and you'll find out why. In 1767, capability in all his glory, he's been royal gardener. He's been he's really been raking in the bucks. This man's been making a lot of money. He decides, again, he's not a landed gentry. He decides to buy himself some land. So he buys Fenstaton Manor and like all of the grounds and village that comes with it. So he now has tenants.
So he's rich enough from doing all this to basically buy himself a lordship.
Yes, that's almost exactly what it is. Yes. Yes.
Then does he charge himself to design his own garden?
It elevated him to the status of landowner. He was not nobility, but he was a landowner. He did have tenants who were paying him money. He paid a reduced rate for the manor as he negotiated the purchase with the Earl of Northampton, who owed him money for work he had done on Castle Ashby. But this was a stable form of investment for him because the projects that he had going, it was hard to know exactly when and how much he would be paid. He had a regular income coming in at about what would now be about £1 million a year just from the tenancies and stuff like that.
Wow.
His family never lived here, though, at Fenstaton Manor. They always lived in the Wilderness House. He did spend quite a bit of time there, though, with Mary Elizabeth Cowling. Mary Elizabeth Cowling was his natural daughter? ? We don't know, but he did set up a house for her, and he never moved his family in there. And she is buried in his family lot.
Oh, interesting.
So, the reason I hope
you hope is because the
other option is that he had a mistress the age of his daughter, but the common thinking is that she was his natural daughter.
How old was? So we don't know anything about like when she entered the story. What age she was when
she was older when she entered this. When he set up a house for her.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not like I believe in like her teens when he set up the house for her.
Never less alone than when you're siring bastard children.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, he did have to go the way of all flesh.
It's so upsetting. It really upsets me.
You could just say he went to Cincinnati.
Yeah. He died after a night out at supper with the Earl of Coventry, the man who gave him his capability name. Oh. They went out to eat together.
They stayed friends their whole life.
Yeah, they were friends.
Cute.
He was working on stuff for him like pretty much all the time, just kind of popping around to his different estates. And Brown was out, I think at Croom, came back into London, died on the steps of his daughter's house.
Whoa. Of what?
Just expired. He wasn't ill. I think he probably had a heart attack or something. Just collapsed.
How old was he?
It was 1783, and he was born in 1716. So, in his 70s?
70s.
Yeah.
Who can do math?
Horace Walpole wrote to Lady Osroy in a letter after his death and said, "Your dryads must go into black gloves, madam. Their father-in-law, Lady Nature's second husband, is dead."
Wow. That's a beautiful...
The dryads must go into black gloves. Black gloves was a sign of mourning at the time, if anybody doesn't know.
That's
gorgeous.
Yeah, that's
Lady
an incredible...
Nature's second husband.
Yeah, what a beautiful way to talk about this guy who did. It fits because he did more to bring back nature than like people who were building the French gardens ever did.
Yeah, for sure.
He left an estate of £40,000, which today would just have been millions. He was quite wealthy when he died, and his sons continued the family pattern of like climbing, basically, of ambition. His son Lance served in Parliament.
Lancelot's son was named Lance.
Yes.
He couldn't have.
I think it might have been Lancelot. lot. He was just referred to as Lance.
There are so many knights that he could have chosen.
John became an admiral. Thomas went into the church, and Capability's daughter married Capability's apprentice, who then took on his business.
That's cute.
That's very cute.
It is cute. It's cute. So he's left, obviously, a legacy behind him, or we wouldn't be talking about him today. The book that I was reading that I quoted from that was like, his genius was often missed because it was so hard to spot. She, I believe, opens her book saying, "The English landscape garden is arguably the greatest contribution Britain has made to visual arts worldwide."
Jesus. Oh, I love this woman. That's incredible. I need to impress this woman with something.
Is she wrong? I'm trying to think real hard. I mean, Doctor Who?
It's visual art, so that's all painting, all fashion. He inspired many landscape. I mean, this is really what he set up to do. Like, he set up so that you could set up your easel at any part in his parks.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
cool.
paint like a really picturesque, beautiful picture.
And I mean, as much as we talked about how low effort everything seemed, like lining and framing the houses with the trees takes, I'm sure, a huge amount of math, and trying to think through every angle is quite interesting. I just love that every picture you showed us is just a lawn.
It's just like nothing is happening.
I did that in my backyard by accident.
I mean, expanding the canals or the lakes or the little ponds to capture the whole house.
Yeah,
that seemed to be like one of maybe the only real thing.
And the haha, that's like a thing.
The haha takes math to do properly.
Yeah.
And just a hatred of cows.
just a real vendetta. I'm just bringing in deer and cordoning off the cows. His clients included the king, 6 prime ministers, and half of the House of Lords.
Yeah,
he really got around.
It's crazy.
Okay, so we're talking about his legacy now. So, like, was this picked up by other places? Like, who outside of England, like, really embraced the English garden? And Horace Walpole, who was speaking at the time, so he didn't have future vision. He had theories, though. He had something to say about what countries he thought would partake in the English garden. So I'm going to quote, "A flat country like Holland is incapable of landscape."
Fucking Holland.
"In France and Italy, the nobility do not reside much and make small expense of their villas. I should think that the little princes in Germany, who spare no profusion to their palaces and country houses, most likely to be our imitators."
It's incredible that he would talk all that shit about the French when they were the ones who started the whole thing.
You got to talk shit about the French, though.
If you're English, you absolutely have to.
Absolutely have to. You have one job. Okay. But famously, one person that everybody is going to recognize did almost immediately pick up a love for English gardens. That was Marie Antoinette. In these very same gardens at Versailles, she was given a space to cordon off and redo as Le Petit Trianon, which she made into, famously, like a English farmhouse country garden, where she would go and dress up as a milkmaid and pretend to milk cows. And it's just a pond and ducks, like a little mill. She would just go and pretend to be a commoner for a day. Of course, her servants were there and like making sure that she didn't have to do any actual work. But she would go and dress up and pretend to be a commoner. And this is inside the grounds of Versailles. I've been there. And so you walk out of these like very structured gardens and you open up onto this very picturesque little lake.
Beautiful.
It's directly
Can you imagine
inspired.
being one of those servants, though, watching her
play at being
God, I hope we cut
servant.
this woman's head off.
And they did. And they did.
Despite the
They
fact that she is deeply misunderstood through history. Hearing that, I'm like, yeah.
No, she really did. She did.
She did deserve that.
Mm-hmm. In America, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson Downing, and Frederick Law Olmsted all adopted capability like landscapes for their homes. At his time, and then after his time, so later on, about a century later, the Victorians, when they spoke about Capability Brown, they spoke of him as someone who had tricked a bunch of landowners into ruining their estates.
Oh my, okay, good. Because
so they finally got
there had to have been someone who was like, what?
Everything's fine.
Yeah, the Victorians were not a fan. They were not all about it. But
Ooh.
Stowe, this is one of the buildings he built at Stowe. Stowe is still beautifully landscaped, and you can go visit it, and it's featured in many, many films. You have seen Stowe in film. It's in the series The Crown, it's in X-Men First Class, it's in Stardust, Indiana Jones, it's in James Bond, it's in many, many films. People
I
love
really
to
hope
film
it's in
at
at least
Stowe.
one Michael Bay movie, but I doubt it.
So maybe most famously, though, like famously known for being filmed at the house.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
Okay.
The Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice is filmed at Chatsworth, Pemberley. So the great house she goes to where Mr. Darcy, like she refuses Mr. Darcy, and then she goes and tours his home and grounds at Pemberley. She goes in for like a touristy tour. And she's walked around and she's like, oh, this would have all been mine if I had been his wife. So it's meant to be this like great grandeur spectacle. And they filmed that at Chatsworth, which Capability
Wow, look at
designed.
that.
And that actually, I believe, is from the film. It's when you drive up, they drive up the carriage for that. They stop to take in the view. And then
It's
she's
gorgeous.
looking out at one point through the windows and she sees all the grounds.
I mean, he
That's
did
all
nail
it's
that
called.
one.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Beautiful. And so he's still remembered. You can go tour Chatsworth. I've toured the grounds.
Great. I've never thought about any of this before in my entire life.
You mean you've never walked into like a lawn and been like, who meticulously landscaped this?
I mean, that's what I love about this. I wouldn't, if I was there, if I was in that picture, it wouldn't occur to me that this incredibly famous, successful person had manicured the whole experience. I would have registered that I was outside.
And that's kind of the point.
Yeah, it is. That's really beautiful.
I'm actually, after seeing enough things pictures, coming back around to thinking he was doing actual work.
Yeah.
And he was a genius.
Yeah.
And we ragged on him for a minute by just kind of conning rich people out of their money, which is cool.
Which is so cool.
Super.
But I also think he was doing some stuff.
Yeah.
In a way that it is hard to appreciate. Like when you do something so natural, that like when you are really talented, people call you a natural at a thing. And it's more or less because you worked really hard to get good at it. I think that's kind of what happened here. Conning rich people out of their money also added it.
Well, I don't really have a better ending than he died and now his stuff is in movies.
Yeah, his stuff. I mean, I love very few of the people that we're going to talk about have like places that you can just go visit.
He maybe started the French Revolution.
But because of
because the servants were so pissed,
so annoyed about her cosplaying their actual lives in front of them.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, but you know, like a lot of the people we talk about left a lasting legacy. Their work has inspired replica. You know, his stuff is still there and it's living. You know, he was an architect too. But
you can go visit
like, that's
many.
very cool.
You can go visit Stowe. You can go visit many of.
You can walk through the giant vine he planted.
You can walk through the giant vine he planted.
Maybe get some of those grapes.
Yeah.
I wonder if they taste good. Do you think they actually taste good, or they just keep using them out of tradition at this point?
I did with the British. Who knows?
I don't know enough about grapes.
They're like those really shitty apples from like Rhode Island that make good cider.
Yeah, they're used for something. I mean, all grapes have some use, right? Something with it.
Yeah, give the German prisoners something to do.
Yeah, something to do.
Remember when we stayed at a really nice hotel and we did a historical tour?
No.
And they're like, in the storied history of this hotel, it did serve briefly as an internment camp for Japanese prisoners in World War II. But other than that, it was a
they just breezed.
Beautiful history.
And then in the 40s, it was. But then in the 50s.
It's like when you go on a tour of like Mount Vernon or Monticello.
Yeah.
They talk about every good thing that Washington or Jefferson did. At the very end, they're like, "Here's this one small thing, just before you go."
It it really was like, but over here in the corner, you'll see a desk that James Madison sat at.
It was so funny. God. Okay. Well, thank you, Ellie. This was lovely.
This was wonderful, Ellie.
This is just a lighthearted. I was so expecting there to be a dark turn.
No,
somewhere,
he was a
good
lovely
job.
man, other than the fact that he almost hopefully cheated on his wife.
Yeah, or maybe
just the one time.
Obviously, only exactly one time.
Okay. Well, I forget how we end these.
I think we.
Oh, you just say okay, bye.
Oh yeah, I love you. Bye.